How you doing, BIM Dublin 2019 to 2020 year group? I hope you're all keeping very well and staying safe as usual. Again, thank you for showing up to the classes online this week, and again, only online because of these restrictions as usual. And as of today, we now officially get our midterm break for the next 10 days, so I won't get to see you guys at all next week, which is very upsetting, especially now that I've heard that even though we're in this lockdown until at least March the 5th, there's a good chance that it's likely to go on for a bit longer than that. Like, I think until Easter, so it seems like I don't get to see many of you guys at all in person during the course of this half year at least. So what I thought I'd do now is give you the next Masterclass episode on the songs that I've written. So this one is for You Gave the Poor Man a Heart Attack. So, as always, same thing as before, talked about how I got the title, then I give you some of the lyrics, play a bit on the guitar, and then play it again with the drum machine on the keyboard. Right, so the title, You Gave the Poor Man a Heart Attack, inspired by the most embarrassing thing I ever did to one of my uncles, which was roaring out the window to a stranger that apparently who my uncle knows, but this person doesn't know me, but I know the person's name, of course. So I kind of wanted to, and then when I saw him on the street, I basically put the window down and I just roared out. And to this day, it's still the most embarrassing thing that I ever did to a family member. And then when I kept on going on about it ever since then, another one of my uncles said to me, "You gave the poor man a heart attack." Or in other words, you scared him. So that's how the title of the song came on board. Right, now for the lyrics. The opening line goes, "Since the age of 19 I'd been teasing my uncle." Because by the time I was 19 years old, that was the first time I knew this guy's name. And that's how I started teasing my uncle since. So since the age of 19 I was teasing my uncle. When I roared the man's name, he thinks it's like a jungle. Because the jungle and uncle for me were kind of inspired by the lines in Bob Dylan's song Tombstone Blues, with the line that has the "then sends them out to the jungle" and then "to win friends and influence his uncle." I know they don't really match up to a perfect line, but I kind of wanted to use those two just because Dylan used them. I'm not trying to use everything that Dylan has done in the songs, but I just thought if there's any line that I have with uncle, I thought I'd use jungle for that. So basically, when the line "roar" in the band's name, he thinks it's jungle. Like, when I roar so loudly, it kind of feels like someone is playing jungle music, especially in the middle of the night. So that's for that one. And another very important lyric in that song is, when he drives down that road, he wishes to stay away, especially if it happened in a place like Paris. Because the road where I roared out the window to a stranger, he's still very embarrassed these days when he's driving down that road. He kind of wishes that they had put a statue of me where I roared at the top of my voice. Oh, it was just so brilliant. I think it was one of the funniest things ever I'd done, even though it was still very embarrassing to him. And then, with the line, especially if it happened in a place like Paris, like in France, like if it happened in Paris, France, which is considered by many to be one of the most beautiful cities in the whole world, I presume. Okay, so for the chorus, it goes, "There's no day like tomorrow when things to you aren't the same." And surprisingly enough, I actually had to do that song for a techniques assignment last year, and for your chorus, you have to use one of the following titles in your chorus or refrain, using either "Like Tomorrow," "Everest," or "Shadows of Another." But some of you guys who were in songwriting with me ended up using those as your song titles. You were only supposed to use them as the refrain or chorus, not to use them as the title, but you have to use them in your chorus or your refrain. So that's that. Then it goes, "It was his moment of sorrow, then to him the dark day came." So he was in a very dark place when I roared out the window. And then the next bit goes, "I roared, 'All right, Brian,' and my uncle gave out. It's a time in his life he will never get back." So when he looks back on that incident now, on that thing now, it's a time in his life that is never going to go away from him. Like, there's actually another song I'd written, like, recently, for, like, what I plan to put on the third studio album, where I have a line that goes, "This is the time of our life we wish we forget." Like, the way, in these very difficult times, this is a time in our lives we wish to forget. Like the way and it's time of their life will never get back. And the same with, if there's anything that was embarrassing to you throughout your whole life, there's no way you're going to get that time back. And that's how, and then it goes, my other uncle said to me, you gave the poor man a heart attack. So that was pretty cool. The second verse goes, and another important bit in the song was, I remember talking about, when I mentioned his name, I always, and then when I showed a picture of him, when I showed him a picture, I just laughed, kind of inspired by the line in Dignity in Bob Dylan's track, that goes, someone showed me a picture and I just laughed, dignity never being photographed. But in this case, I wanted to get his autograph. So the graph and the laugh bit are rhyming together. And then my uncle says, you're just a stalker. And then the whole Joker thing, and then when I was only having a joke about doing something I shouldn't be doing. So that's a great line there. So that's all there really is in terms of the lyrics. I only just want to pick the highlights in the song. So, as for that one, now what I'm going to do is play a bit of the music. So, just let me get my cap off from here. Okay, let's see now. Let me see now. I think it was this one here. No, wrong one. It's this one. Okay. So the music in You Gave the Poor Man a Heart Attack was based on the Booker T and the MG song Behave Yourself. And I feel it was a very appropriate one because for what I do, for the most embarrassing thing that I did, it was kind of obvious that a response you get to that is behave yourself. So I kind of thought that's a great inspiration. Right. So based on Behave Yourself. So their music is more. That was pretty good, and then that bit where I had the that's where they had on the original recording it had it had Steve Cropper doing the guitar and Al Jackson Jr. doing the drum bits there for their jamming, which I thought was cool. So whereas I, for my own track, go like this. And also, just to tell you, in terms, when I did that techniques assessment there, I had to write it in the style of either an up-tempo song or a contemporary ballad. And I kind of did it in a ballad because it's mostly about, it's basically a story about the most embarrassing thing I ever did in life to someone else. So, that's just a little bit of a note. So, I forgot to ask at the start, are we bored? Yeah, I mean, again, I'd like to be doing more what I'm doing, but unfortunately I can't at the moment because we're still in the winter season. Hopefully when spring comes, we'll be able to start heading out and about again and hopefully meeting up with all our friends again. And then hopefully, depending on restrictions in the summertime, we can then hopefully have the party I was hoping to have. But we'll have to see how it goes in terms of restrictions and trying to keep flattening that curve. And luckily, this morning I read that the numbers are once again going in the right direction. So, big thanks. Okay, so this is the music to Give the Poor Man a Heart Attack. It goes. like that, and then when I got to the bit based on the, the toms going, I kind of more like, when he drives down that road, it's the story, especially if it happens in a place like Paris. There's no day like tomorrow when things aren't the same. It was his moment of sorrow. Thanks to him, the dark day came. I wrote all that crying, and I all forget about. It's a time in his life he will never get back. You gave the poor man a heart attack. So pretty good. I kind of wanted to just keep my singing a bit quiet, and that's only because I'm going to put the lyrics into the chat so you guys can sing along with the music, and then of course keep the link to the recording of the first take I did. So that's that one, and also the music that when I said there's no day like tomorrow, it kind of sounded a lot like Leonard Cohen's song "So Long Marianne," with the "So Long Marianne," but it doesn't have the "It's time that we began to laugh and cry." It just goes to the "When things to you aren't the same," just to make it my own song. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is get the keyboard and then turn the drum machine sound on. In fairness now, I really do like the song actually, but it's nowhere near as good as The Godmothers of Friendship or any other track on this second album so far. Like even Dear's My Heart and The Icebreaker. Two other fantastic tracks. And then the same with a few of the tracks on the first songs too. Right, so turn the volume down, because again, don't want to be distracting my neighbours. So I think it was in slow rock. Oh no, that's just rock. So it's slow rock we need to do, and I think the tempo for this one was around 60 BPM or something. So I'm just going to put this down at around 60 BPM. I'll just test it first before I can even make a decision. That sounds good. Right, I'll give that a go, so. And then, like I said, I'll put the lyrics into the chat so you can sing along with the music. And then we'll see who would be the perfect example, who would be the great musicians to play on this type of track. Right, so here we go. This is You Gave the Poor Man a Heart Attack. pretty good. I really think it really suits that vibe. That's kind of... I did a similar one with St. Edith's Hospital House and From Dylan to Edwards with that similar like beat. I think it really suits the vibes of that song. Right, so I'll just put my guitar over there. And that's it. That's the Masterclass episode for You Gave the Poor Man a Heart Attack. Hope you all enjoyed it. And I hope you all have a very safe midterm break for the next 10 days. So today is now February 11th. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again online on the 22nd of February. So have a great midterm break. Continue to stay safe. And look out for one another. And I'll see you guys again pretty soon.